Hi, my name is Anna. I am 19 years old and I live in a small town in the United States. Last week, something very important happened to me. I had my first job interview. I never had a job before, so I was nervous and excited at the same time. I wanted to work at a small bookstore near my house. The bookstore is quiet, full of books, and very friendly. I love reading, so I thought, this is the perfect job for me. The interview was on Monday at 10 o'clock in the morning. On Sunday night, I could not sleep very well. I was thinking about the questions they might ask. Why do you want this job? Do you have any experience? Can you work on weekends? I practiced my answers in front of the mirror. I looked at myself and said, "Hello, my name is Anna. I am a student. I love books and I want to work here." I smiled, but I still felt nervous. In the morning, I woke up early. I took a shower, brushed my teeth, and got dressed. I wore a clean white shirt and black pants. I also wore my favorite shoes. They are black and comfortable. Before leaving, my mom said, "Good luck, Anna. You will do great." I smiled and hugged her. I took the bus to the bookstore. During the ride, I looked at the questions again on my phone. I read them slowly and said the answers quietly. Some people looked at me and smiled. I smiled back. I think they knew I was nervous. I arrived at the bookstore 15 minutes early. I didn't want to be late. I sat on a bench outside and took a deep breath. Then I walked inside. There was a nice woman at the front desk. She looked at me and said, "Hello, are you Anna?" I said, "Yes, I am. Nice to meet you." She smiled and asked me to wait for a few minutes. After that, she took me to a small room. Another woman was there. Her name was Mrs. Taylor. She was the manager. Mrs. Taylor smiled and said, "Hello, Anna. How are you today?" I answered, "I am good, thank you. A little nervous." She laughed kindly and said, "That's okay. Everyone is nervous for their first interview." She asked me some questions. "Why do you want to work here?" I said, "Because I love books and I want to learn more." She asked, "Do you have any work experience?" I said, "No, but I help my mom at home. I also study hard and learn fast." She smiled and said, "That's good. Can you work on weekends?" I answered, "Yes, I can work on Saturdays and Sundays." Then she asked, "What are your strengths?" I thought for a moment and said, "I am friendly, I listen to people, and I like to help." Mrs. Taylor nodded and wrote something on her paper. I felt a little better. I was still nervous, but I was smiling now. After 20 minutes, the interview ended. She said, "Thank you, Anna. We will call you soon." I stood up and said, "Thank you for the opportunity. Have a great day." She smiled again and said, "You too." I left the bookstore and went home. On the way, I was thinking, did I do well? Did I say something wrong? But I tried to stay positive. The next day, I was doing homework when my phone rang. I looked at the number. It was the bookstore. I answered quickly, "Hello?" A woman said, "Hi, Anna. This is Mrs. Taylor from the bookstore." My heart was beating fast. She said, "We liked your interview. We want to offer you the job." I could not believe it. I smiled and said, "Thank you so much. I am very happy." She gave me some instructions and told me to start on Saturday. I told my mom, and she gave me a big hug. It was one of the best days of my life. Now I work at the bookstore every weekend. I help people find books. I clean the shelves and organize the books. I also read during quiet hours. I feel happy and proud. My first interview was scary, but it was also the first step to something good. And now I have my first job.